So I'd like to go ahead and formally start and welcome everyone to today's presentation. We are here today to talk about scholarships for workforce training, and we're joined by Christine Alvarez from LaGuardia Community College. Christine is the Director of Clinical Healthcare Services at LaGuardia, and we're very lucky to have her and very thankful for her time with us today. And so Christine's going to be talking about new opportunities at LaGuardia for workforce training and full and partial scholarships. Kate and I, who many of you know, will be following the chat, and we will be keeping track of questions and requests for information, and when it's appropriate, we may interrupt Christine just to ask a question or two if someone has one from the chat. So please ask your questions in the chat. Everyone's muted and you're not able to unmute right now, but towards the end of the meeting, we'll let people unmute if you want to ask your question verbally or out loud. But in the meantime, put your interests in the chat and put your questions in the chat. Kate and I will follow that. My name's Eric, by the way, Eric Appleton, and just glad for everyone being here. And thank you, Christine, and whenever you're ready.
Well, first, I would like to thank Eric and Kate for inviting me to speak with you today. I think this is a great opportunity for me to share with you some fantastic opportunities that are available at LaGuardia Community College. I've been at LaGuardia for more than 3 decades, and even though I was originally a paramedic by training, I've been an administrator at LaGuardia for a long period of time. I'm very familiar with the programs there. And if you are not familiar with LaGuardia Community College, I hope to make you familiar with it. We are in a great location. I call it spitting distance from Manhattan. It is Queens, but it's right over the river from Manhattan and located by all the trains and buses that make it very reachable from about all the boroughs, maybe a stretch for Staten Island, but really close we have students from Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, all the boroughs and beyond the boroughs. So we're really close by and easy to get to. And now I'm going to talk to you about some fantastic opportunities. There have never been so many fantastic opportunities for students at LaGuardia as there is today. So let's get into it and share some of those. So the sectors are mostly healthcare, technology, construction, but there are some others. And we're going to talk to you about specific ones and how this is going to help you and the city. So why are we here? We're here for you and to help you reach your goals, to get ahead, to move forward in your life, to realize the dreams that you have, to get to a better place. That's why we're here. So we have 5 different funding sources for 15 different scholarships, 15 different opportunities available. And actually, this doesn't even include 2 free programs that aren't even mentioned here, but I'm going to throw them in, which are community health worker for English language learners and medical billing. Those are 2 free programs. They're not scholarship programs. They're just free programs. So you can keep those in mind. They're not listed here because they're not scholarships. They're just free. Community health worker for English language learners and medical billing. Okay, so these are our scholarship opportunities right now. All of these are open right now. And I wanted to describe them for you because it's not actually quite obvious what some of these opportunities are. Central Service Technician, not too many people know what that is. Another word for it is sterile processing. And that's the person in the hospital that sterilizes the operating room tools for the surgeons. So this person is going to learn how to clean instruments and sterilize them using chemicals and heat. And they wrap instruments, they put them into various types of machines. It's very sophisticated. As a matter of fact, Northwell Health, I went to visit, they have a brand new facility in Nassau County for sterile processing. It's a huge building where they're doing this. A lot of hospitals do sterile processing at the hospital, but they just built a facility separate from the hospital because it's so large. And this is central service or sterile processing is for the person who is very, very meticulous. This is a job for someone who's very meticulous and can follow very strict guidelines, because an instrument that is not cleaned absolutely according to the guidelines could be the source of infection for a patient in an operation. So it's a great job, and it leads to a career pathway where a person could become a supervisor of a sterile processing lab. There is a certification for it, and it's a great job. It's a great opportunity, and we have a fantastic program in this, Central Service Technician. So it may not be something that you've thought of before, because a lot of people don't know about this type of job, but it's a fantastic opportunity. Certified Clinical Medical Assistant is a program that I run, so I'm quite familiar with it, and we're going to have a few slides about this particular program. Very popular because there's quite a lot of openings as medical assistants. This is something most people are familiar with because they come in contact with medical assistants in their doctor's office or in the clinic. So you see them, they start EKGs, they take blood, they meet the patient in the office, they take the history, they take the vital signs. Many people are familiar with the roles of the clinical medical assistant. Medical administrative assistant is often the person at the front desk who is doing the scheduling, taking the insurance forms, making the referrals, this type of position. It's also a very popular program, and there's a lot of job openings there as well. Construction management. This opportunity is really for people who are already in the construction field and are looking to move up to a management level position. So this is really not an entry level program. This is for somebody who has been working as a mason, as a carpenter, or working in some construction field and said, you know what, I am ready to take on a higher level job in construction. I want to learn how to manage the site. That's construction management. Data analytics is very popular. So many companies want to know how to analyze all of the data that they're receiving to make their company operate better. So this certificate, this is highly sought after by many people. This does require you to have knowledge of computer operations before you come in. So this is not for a person who's never touched a computer before, okay? And it's a fantastic program, fantastic. Electrical. You'll see electrical 1, and you'll see plumbing 1 over here. Now, some people may have the misconception that this prepares you to be an electrician and a plumber. You know, electricians and plumbers have to be licensed, and these are training you to become an electrician's helper and a plumber's helper. So it's more like preparing you to apprentice to an electrician or a plumber, to lead you into a role where you could eventually get your electrician's license or your plumber's license. It's the first step. It's entry level into electricity and plumbing. It is not advanced level to get you your electrician's license. So it's a starting program, okay? It's a starting program. These programs are excellent. These programs are being done by people who have taught them for many years in the high schools, and they're hands-on, really top-notch. Top-notch. I highly recommend the electricity and plumbing programs at LaGuardia, okay? EMT, emergency medical technician. This is one of my programs. We've been doing them for 25 years. The job market for EMTs has never been higher. They're now even, there's such a shortage of EMTs right now. They're paying several $1,000s to people who join a company as an incentive because there's such a competition for employees. EMTs work on ambulances, and they respond to the sick and injured. To work on this, in this position, you need to be able to lift and carry people. You need to be able to drive an ambulance, and you need to care about people and have compassion for people who are sick. So you need to have a certain type of personality to work as an EMT. You need to be able to work independently in the field. You're not in a hospital with a lot of other people. You're just with a partner on the unit. So it requires a certain personality to be able to do that work. You see a lot of difficult things as an EMT. EMTs can do a career path to paramedic to PA, physician assistant. So we have many people who start as EMTs and work their way up the medical career ladder to very high paying jobs. IT support specialist. There's a lot of jobs in IT support. There's so many. So I don't know if you've ever needed an IT support person. I have called on them all the time. When I run into difficulties at the college, I think most people know what they do. Information technology IT support jobs are very plentiful, and it's a great career starting position with computers. Medical coding. So when you are doing insurance billing, every insurance bill has to be coded with a diagnostic code that pertains to the problem that the individual has. And so learning the diagnostic coding is a skill that is taught in this program. There's a separate program for medical billing, as I mentioned before. It's a free course for medical billing, and we have a scholarship for medical coding. Mental health peer specialist. This is a first of its kind program at LaGuardia. I don't know of a comparable program anywhere. It's very unique. It's a counselor type program, a peer support program, where it has to be, in order to apply for this, you must be a person with lived experience with a mental health challenge. Yourself or a person in your family who has a lived experience with a mental health challenge, so that you can support another person who is going through a similar challenge. That's a mental health peer specialist. This is a unique program and one of the few that exist. And it's a wonderful program. And I hope that if this pertains to you, you may consider it. Pharmacy technician. I believe that many of you have gone into a CVS or a Walgreens or a Rite Aid and have seen pharmacy technicians working at the side of the pharmacist and assisting them in the office with the prescriptions. So I think most people have an idea of how the pharmacy technicians take some of the orders and disperse some of the orders and assist the pharmacists. So I think most people have an idea of what that preparation might look like, knowing what some of the drug categories are and how prescriptions work. So that is the training that's received for pharmacy technician. QuickBooks is bookkeeping. It is not accounting. It doesn't prepare you to be a CPA, but it does prepare you to do bookkeeping. And there's a lot of positions available in bookkeeping in the private sector. So again, these openings that we're preparing you for are for ones that there is a high demand out in the field for you to get a position. Cybersecurity is another one where you are learning how to protect a company or an agency from intrusions into their computer systems. They teach you how to find people who are trying to break into their systems and how to protect those systems. Spanish English interpreter, you have to be already bilingual to do this. This is primarily for work in hospitals. You have to be bilingual, and they will teach you the medical terminology so that you can interpret for patients. Okay. Questions about any specific one of these?
Christine, one question that came up actually was about the two free programs you mentioned before this slide. Maybe we could put link, to titles in the chat, maybe, because there were questions about how do you access them, that kind of thing.
Well, you would access them the same way you're going to access the information on these, which is going to be on a later slide. But it's community health worker. The community health worker is a person who does education in areas such as diabetes or asthma or these types of chronic diseases. Will go into a home and help a person who is suffering from a chronic disease or congestive heart failure or one of these things, and talk to them about what they need to do to help manage their disease. So they're trained in information that is preventive and also, many types of prevention and educational and therapeutic communication and educational techniques to communicate with patients who are suffering from chronic disease. Medical billing is combined together with coding to help people work with insurance claims in the healthcare setting. So if a person is interested in the medical coding, taking the medical billing will give them even more opportunities for positions that involve insurance claims in the healthcare setting. But how to access these, we're going to practice accessing the information when we get to the end of the presentation.
Great. And both those programs you mentioned are free, correct?
Those are free.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. So here's some of our folks at work. We want to show you some of our students. You know, some of these programs are very hands-on. Obviously, this is plumbing. These are some of my EMT students in uniform. You can see the stethoscopes wrapped around their necks. This is at graduation time, so they've all got big smiles on their faces. Computers, laptops. This is medical assisting. And I do want to say that it's very invigorating for the students to get into these programs and to participate in these programs, and they enjoy the programs. But it is work. It's work, it's hard work to do them, but you're going to get a great benefit after you've completed it. Anything that's worthwhile is going to require work. So here are those different funds that we mentioned and the different programs that they're associated with. Excuse me. And they all have different eligibilities. Here are some of them. So many of them have income eligibility. Almost all of them require you to be an adult. I don't know that any of them you can be less than 18. Some of them require for you to be a New York State resident. There's some that do not. Many, but not all, require you to be looking to work in the field. Many require you to be a high school graduate or equivalency graduate. The mental health peer specialist has the additional requirement here, which I mentioned before. Now, when we say that the person needs to be interested in working in the field, I want you to understand that when these programs are over, we have people who help you find a job. They're going to help you make a resume, help you learn how to do an interview, help you connect to the employers. We have connections to employers. We're not just going to throw you out there and say, oh, your project is done. Here's your certificate. Have a nice day. That's not how it works. We help you with your job search. We help you find work. We're good at that. So here's a few programs very specifically. This is the medical assistant, what they do, where they work, their anticipated salary, the courses that they take. It's a $3,400 program, which you can have a free scholarship to. You can get 3 national certifications. There's both day and evening classes available. And it takes approximately 6 months part-time. So you can be, have a part-time job and go to school at night, or you can go during the day while your kids are in school. The classes run 10 to 2:30. You have kids in school, you can be out in time to get your kids. That can happen. Or you can go at night. There's options. This is electrical and plumbing. Prepares you to be a electrical or plumber's helper or assistant. And again, these are career paths. Career paths to really good jobs. Fantastic opportunity. So these tuitions are $2,200, $2,500, and you can get a free scholarship. So you've seen that there's 15 different possibilities, actually more if you look at the free programs. And of course, you need to think about what might be most interesting for you or most applicable to you. So you can go to our college website. And take a look at all the information that's there. Here it is. Ah, look at that. One of my students right there. And you can choose from these different areas and take a look. Let's see. I might be interested in healthcare. Which one of these might I be interested in? I might be interested in, who wants to see one of these? Anybody? Which one?
Christine, do you want me to let people unmute? Do you want, I mean, right now people are muted. Should I let people
They can
unmute?
chat. They can put in the chat which one they want me to click.
Okay. Radiologic tech.
No, that's not one of the ones. That's not one of the ones. One of the ones we have for this is EMT, medical assisting, medical coding, pharmacy tech.
Pharmacy tech.
Pharmacy tech.
So that was CalSung, and also cybersecurity was the next one, but pharmacy tech was the first.
Though. We're under healthcare. So here we go. Pharmacy tech. Okay. So you can register for an information session. Look at this. There's an information session on April 5th to tell you about pharmacy tech and central service, of which there is, both of those have scholarships, right? And it will tell you here all about information about central service and about pharmacy technician. You just click on these things and you'll find out more information. Okay. And then you can click here to tell you how to register for the pharmacy technician screening test. Look at that. All kinds of information. Let's see. How do we register for the screening test? Puts you right into the registration page. All you have to do is fill out your information. You make an account into the registration, and then you can, well, this has got my name, but I don't want to register for pharmacy technician, but you would just register for the information session and take the screening test. It's probably a reading test for pharmacy technician. And then you can apply for the scholarship. If we go back to let's see, something else you want to look at. I think you want to look at cybersecurity. Somebody wanted to look at?
Yeah.
Learn more about cybersecurity. Okay, click here to sign up for a information session. So, apply for a free webinar, explore a career. Okay. There are many different programs that you can look at on our website. So we have all of the different information sessions. Look at this. Introduction to Python. I'd like to know what that is. I have no idea. Prerequisites. Let's see. Cybersecurity screening exam. All the information is here for you, depending on what it is that you're interested in. Sorry about that robocall. So, is there?
So maybe, Christine, maybe I could stop and throw you a few questions.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to answer.
And that, because it seems like maybe it's different for each program. And I think you're already starting to answer some of these questions, but I see there are some questions that have come up are, for example, let's see here. Is there a deadline for applying for any of these options or scholarships? How do we apply and what's the requirement? When is the last time? How long does the program last?
Right.
Are these trainings only for adult education programs or students? It feels like each of these trainings or certificates have sort of different requirements. They often happen at different times, correct?
Yes, all of this is true. Okay. You take, for example, the medical assistant. We just started it March 7. So we just gave out 20 scholarships for medical assisting. The next group of students will be starting in September. So people can now sign up for information sessions for the September program. We have a lot of scholarships. These are not people who are competing for 2 or 3 scholarships. We have a lot of scholarships to give away. So I don't want people to get the idea that, oh, there's 50 people that are competing for 2 scholarships. That's not what's happening. There's a lot of scholarships available for people. So people should not think that they shouldn't apply because, oh, there's not a good chance of them getting it. That's just not true. You should apply. You really should apply because there's a lot of scholarships available for people. Okay, but the programs are starting at all different times. So the way to do it is to look at what is the field that fits you best first, okay? Because, not everybody wants to be a plumber or into plumbing. Not everybody wants to be an EMT. Not everybody wants to be working at a computer and doing IT support. This has to be done in a way that it fits your personality and your desire to work in that area. Okay, and these things vary so greatly. That's where you have to start. Then you see when does the program start, what are the schedules, and what is the eligibility for it, and see whether you're eligible, and start going to the information sessions. Look on the website and go to the information session find out about the career, and apply for the scholarship. Sometimes you can apply for the scholarship before you've taken the screening test. That was true for medical assisting. You could apply first and then later find out. Here's another piece of advice for you if you are applying for a scholarship. Some people in their application for the scholarship simply write things like, I need the scholarship because it's important to me. You need to understand that there's 30 people writing the same thing. Everyone's saying, I need the scholarship, it's important to me. But we don't know you. We want to know you. In order for us to know you, you got to tell us about you. Why do you want to be the thing you are trying to become? Why is the plumbing or the medical assisting or the EMT or the cybersecurity or whatever it is, why is that? Why do you want to be that? Why do you need the scholarship considering your family and your situation? You need to explain it to us because we don't know you and we want to know you. So let us know you. Let us know what your thinking is and where you're at. Because I say we, I'm not actually the person who reads this. I'm not the person who decides, but the people who are reading it, it's very hard for them when a person just says, yes, I want the money. Yes, but a person who writes and said, you know, I've been working in a doctor's office for many years, but I never had the clinical skills, and I want to learn how to draw blood and do EKGs. I've seen people doing it in the doctor's office, and I want to learn those skills because boy, everyone's calling me now because it's only when I'm doing a Zoom that everybody wants to talk to me. Sorry. That this is something that you've always wanted to do. You've always wanted to be an EMT. You've always wanted to work in the construction trades. Your father used to be a building super. You've always wanted to do it. Or what is it that attracts you to it, and why you think you could be successful at it, and you want to be a role model for your kids or whatever it is, and take the time to do the application with some thought and consideration, because it's important to write it. You don't have to be the best speller. You don't have to be the best writer, but just tell us about you so we get to know you. And some of them will require an interview. Some of the applications require an interview, some of them do not. So sometimes all we have is what you write. So let us get to know you. That's my suggestion.
Christine, can I ask, I just have an idea, I wonder if it might be useful. You gave some steps that you recommend, because we're getting a lot of questions about specific programs, and I know that we can't answer all the specific questions that people have, because there's many different programs, and they all have different kinds of requirements and different steps. I'm wondering, you gave out sort of an outline of what you recommend, the steps that people take, because everyone here, if you're interested in these opportunities, you're going to have to do some research on your own. You're going to have to take steps on your own to make it happen. You're not going to get all your questions answered right now. But Christine gave us this really useful advice. I'm wondering if I could just take down, you said like maybe 4 or 5 steps that you recommend. Yes. If I could write those down, and again. Yes,
go on the website, the link that we gave to the college's website, and look up the program. All about it. That's 1. 2 is go to the info session. The information session will give you so much more information. So much more. And you can ask questions at the information session, one-on-one, with a person who is intimately familiar with that program, the dates, the times, whether it's online. Listen, some programs are online. Okay? You don't have to go in person. I'm gonna make another mention though of, if you come to the college in person, you must be fully vaccinated. I want to make that point. They will not let you into any college building if you are not fully vaccinated. You can apply for an exemption, religious or medical. There's very, very few of those granted. I would not count on that. So if you are not fully vaccinated and you want to come to the college in person, you need to be vaccinated. Okay, so check the website, go to the information session, fill out the application for the scholarship for the program that you wish to attend. Those are the first three things that you need to do. And certainly you can check the eligibility. Check the eligibility for the program and the scholarship. Make sure you're eligible. You don't want to apply for something for which you are not eligible.
Kate, are there other specific questions that maybe, I'm going to post those steps in the chat. Are there any other specific questions that maybe Christine could answer right now?
I also wanted to let people know that if you are going to do an online program, the college does have loaner laptops, hotspots that they can loan to people. You know, we are there to assist.
So Christine, it feels like maybe we're starting towards the end of the presentation part, and so people, if they have questions, is it okay if people maybe unmute one at a time to ask?
I'm here to answer questions, whatever I can. Listen, I am not an expert in cybersecurity, but if I can answer a question, I will answer the question. I will try.
So here's what I said. There's a lot of us here, so we don't want to like all talk at the same time. So, but you now should have the ability to unmute. But let's, if a couple of people unmute at the same time, let's just be polite and just kind of let somebody go first. I don't think we'll call on people, so I think we'll just try and just have a conversation. So when you're ready, go ahead and unmute yourself. But let's just do it slowly so we don't talk over each other. I see
Vanessa with her hand up.
Hi, Kristen. Thank you. Good afternoon to all. My question, you mentioned about the registration for medical assistant, and it starts in September. Is there a website where I could sign up now? And the other question that I had, do you have to complete your GED for it to do that? And also, do you have to have an income of $35,000 a year, or if you don't have an income, would you still be qualified for that program?
Okay, that's a lot of questions. Yes, you have to have okay. The certifications that we offer through the National Health Career Association, they do not allow you to take those exams if you do not have a high school diploma or equivalency. So it is a requirement to participate in the program with a scholarship that you have a GED, high school equivalency diploma, or high school diploma minimum. So it's that or higher. I had somebody say, well, I don't have a high school equivalency, I have an associate's degree. Yes, I understand. You can't find your high school diploma, you have your associate's degree, it's fine. But the agency that gives the certifications won't allow you to take their test if you don't have a minimum of a high school equivalency or high school diploma. And that includes, they will take from foreign countries, they will take those diplomas is fine. You can sign up for those, for the scholarship now for September. The scholarship application is open. Because we just started the class this week, I don't know if the application for the next info sessions is open. I think it is. I think the information sessions are open. If not, they will be open very shortly. You certainly can read about the program. It's up there on the website. And yes, it's a very popular program. Like I said, we just gave out 20 scholarships for it. and it's a wonderful program. Wonderful. What was it? I didn't answer all your questions though. I think there was a whole bunch of them. Did I miss one?
The last one was, do you have to have an income? If you don't have an income, are you still qualified?
Yeah, no, you must have financial need. So an income of $35,000 or less is eligibility for the scholarship. So if you're making more than $35,000 right now, then you're not eligible for the scholarship. You can take the course, but you won't be eligible for scholarship if you make more than $35,000.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you answering the questions.
You're welcome.
Hi, good day, everyone. I have a question regarding the Certified Clinical Medical Assistant program as well. Okay, so I am currently in a GED program. Can I sign up for the scholarship and the info sessions and everything now? And by September, we should be taking our test then.
You're in what program now?
We're actually in the GED program now, doing the class now to take the test. So I'm asking, should I sign up for the scholarship and info session now for September program?
When are you going to be taking your GED test?
We're hoping, I think, by the end of April, May. We're not sure yet because everything is in transition.
You can apply now, but they may not give you an answer until you get it finished.
Oh, okay.
You have plenty of time. You have plenty of time.
Okay.
You have plenty of time. This is perfect. It's perfect timing.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Sure.
You could still attend an information session, right? Maybe?
Yes, she can attend the information session. She can even apply for the scholarship. They just may not give her the response to the scholarship until it's completed.
Understood. Thank
It's a
you.
good idea to start researching now.
Get first in line. That's no problem with that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Kristen. Do you know offhand which programs are available online?
I believe that the data analytics, the IT support, the cybersecurity are available online. The medical administrative assistant, I believe is online. I don't know if it's transitioning to being on campus, but it has been offered online. Any of the ones that require hands-on skills, of course, they may be hybrid, like plumbing and electrical, I believe is hybrid because the skills, of course, can't be done online. EMT and medical assisting are primarily in person. The medical terminology part can be done online, but anything that has hands-on skills can't be done online, of course. Trying to think. QuickBooks might be online. Anything that is a computer-based program is very likely to be online. It's just kind of common sense. Central service is not. That's a very hands-on program. Whether some of them may be hybrid, we are in a situation in which we are transitioning from the COVID situation where we were doing a lot of online programs, and now we're transitioning some of these to on campus. So I don't know what the status of all the classes are. It would be best to check on the website for some of them. For example, the CCMA, right now I'm offering medical terminology online at night and in person during the day. So sometimes there's options for these courses.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry I don't have a complete listing.
Christina, do you have a question here that came up? Do any of these programs offer transportation, subway, metro cards?
I love that question. I love that question. Many of these scholarships have all kinds of additional assistance, such as MetroCards, books, uniforms, case management. In other words, people that assist with all kinds of counseling. So I don't know exactly which ones have exactly what. I do know that my medical assisting one does have MetroCards, uniforms, books, paid for. But there's 5 different funds that are supplying these. So it's a little bit too complicated for me to say if they all have MetroCards, you know, attached to them, but many of them do. Many of them do.
Ms. Alvarez, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a limit as to how many scholarship one can apply? Like, let's say I do Spanish or bilingual and I want to do the certified service technician. Is that possible? Like, is there a limit to how many scholarship one can apply? If I finish one, can I apply for another one?
Well, they're looking for you to work if you apply for a scholarship, they're looking for you to find employment in that field. So some things lend themselves to do 2 courses because they're connected. For example, medical coding and medical billing kind of lend themselves to doing one job. And Spanish language interpreter and community health worker lend themselves to kind of doing one job. But central service technician, which is working specifically to sterilize instruments, has no contact with patients whatsoever. So Spanish language interpreter is a totally different job where you're working directly with patients and physicians. So if you were to apply for 2 different things to do 2 completely different jobs, I don't think they would give you both of those scholarships, because you're applying for 2 different, you know, it's like applying to be an electrician and applying to be an EMT. You know, you can't be working in 2 different fields. Those are 2 different fields. So it would look like you really haven't made up your mind what you really want to do. So I wouldn't recommend that you do that, because it would look to me like you really didn't know what you wanted to do and you really weren't committed to either one. So I wouldn't recommend.
What I mean is that, what I said, let's say if you did the bilingual and you've been doing it for a year, and let's say you want to go back, let's say, and apply for the technician. Can you apply for a second scholarship? I'm not saying like not at the same time. Let's say you've been doing one for 1 year and you want to change.
I don't see why that, nobody has told me that you can't do that. So I would suspect you could. Is there any other questions?
Me again, Vanessa. Sorry. The course you have for the medical assistance, is it in Brooklyn or in Long Island?
All of the courses are in Long Island City, Queens at LaGuardia, except electrical and plumbing are in Manhattan, in East Harlem.
Oh.
All the others are in Long Island City at the campus at LaGuardia, unless they're online, in which of course you're at home or wherever you do your online work from.
Okay, thank you.
Christine, I have a
Thank you
question.
for asking. Yes.
Yeah, a few people asked that question, actually. Christine, I have a question that maybe other people are wondering. I know that there are full scholarships and there are partial scholarships, and you have to be making less than $35,000 a year to be eligible for any of them. That's true? That was my first question, I guess.
That's a good question. The reason why that is the eligibility is they're not going to give you a scholarship. The purpose of the scholarship is to help you make more money than you're making now. So if you're making more money now, why would you leave what you're doing now to do something for less money? So if you have a job that's making $45,000 a year, and we're training you for a job that makes $35,000 a year, we're not helping you. So they want to take people who have a part-time job or people who have a low-paying job and give them a better job. If you're making more than that, now, if your family income, if your husband's making 45 and you're not working, that's fine. That doesn't matter to us. If you're not working, we don't care if he's making 45, you're not working, we're going to help you get a job. Okay. So that's not the problem. The problem is that we can't get you a lower paying job than you already have. That just doesn't, that's not what the funders of these scholarships want to do. They want you better off than you were before.
So a follow-up question, I guess, is like, what can people maybe expect to pay if they don't get a full scholarship? Like, what might a semester cost once a partial if they get a partial scholarship?
20%.
So if you get a partial scholarship, you might pay 20% of the tuition.
Right.
Or you might not pay 0%.
Right. 0% would be 100% scholarship. Partial scholarship would be 20%. It's not too bad.
So then, and each of these programs probably have different tuition, maybe. So then you'd have to just.
Oh, yes, they have different tuitions. Absolutely.
Hi, thank you, Christine. This is some great information. I just wanted a clarification. I might have missed it. When we were talking about laptops before, it's in conjunction with the program per se, right? You're not saying that LaGuardia's Continue Ed program just gives out loaner laptops.
No, if your program requires you, let's say you sign up for an online program, and you know,
they'll give you a laptop if you need.
You're on the info session online, but you're borrowing your son's laptop,
right,
that he uses for school. So you did the info session, but now you're going to be on an online program, and you don't have a laptop to use for that online program, other than borrowing your son or your brother's or your somebody else's, which you can't use on a regular basis, or your Wi-Fi is spotty, and you, in order to do the class, you need the technology. We have loaners. They have Chromebooks to loan. They don't give it to you. They loan it to you. You got to give it back.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Miss Christina?
Yes.
I was a little late. So is all of this information going to be emailed to the participants?
That's a
or
question
is there somewhere I can go to find out all the information that I may have missed?
I can respond to that. So we're recording the session. The recording will be posted in our Google Classroom, along with the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation that Christine gave, which has a lot of detailed information, and any other materials that related to this, we will post in our Google Classroom. I'll put the link to our Google Classroom in the chat.
Okay.
If you're not already registered for the Google Classroom, anybody here, I recommend that you register, because then you'll get alerts for upcoming webinars. You'll be able to watch recordings from previous webinars. You'll be able to look at the slides. Like Christine made a point to me before we started today that it's really important that if you really want to do this, you have to go look at the slides yourself. you have to go click on links, you have to go do research, right? Go to information sessions and answer a lot of these questions, right? Because there's a lot of detailed information here. So we'll post links in the chat to join the Google Classroom. You need a Gmail account to do that. I'll put my email address as well in case anyone needs help.
Thank you.
That's how we share it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Now, I also want to say to you that it would be a mistake to think that 3 years from now, all of these opportunities will still be there, right? So this is fantastic. We have 5 scholarship opportunities. We have all these scholarships to give away. We're thrilled. There's 15 opportunities with a couple more free ones, you know, but I'm not saying that, you know, in 2025 that I can make this presentation again. These funders have given us this money. We love it. It's fantastic. I don't have any idea that 3 years from now, I can make the same presentation. So I say opportunity is available, grab it when it's there, because people make a mistake in thinking, oh, well, it's there, it's gonna still be there. Well, I don't know that. I've been at the college for, like I said, 30 years, and I've had the opportunity to give away scholarships 1 year and not have any the next year. So people got, for a paramedic, $4,000 scholarships 1 year. They didn't have any the next year. 1 year they got free training. They didn't have any the next year. Okay, so sometimes you have to seize the moment. And when an opportunity presents itself, not only seize the moment to apply, but seize the moment to do it and take advantage of it and make something of it. So if you get that scholarship, to really turn it into something. Okay, I've also seen people be given it and not utilize it to the utmost, because that opportunity may not come again. You know, you get a chance, you get a great opportunity, run with it and work at it and make it into something, because you know you don't always know that it's going to come again. So you know, go forth and prosper, as they say in one of those shows. And you know, I love to see. Listen, I love to see students coming back and they're making more money than I am. I just love that stuff. And that's what I want to see for you. I want to see for you. Listen, you're here because you're looking for something more and you can get it. So go get it. I'm like, go for it.
Christine, I'm just going to ask real quick because it's coming up so many times. Are there any programs for which you do not need an HSE or equivalent?
Thank you. That's a very good question.
Yes, that is a good question. That is a good question. And the problem is that I don't have the answer, and so I am going to have to say to you, I am going to find out the answer, and I'm going to have to send it to you so that you can post it with the slides.
Thank you.
Because there's nothing I hate more than somebody who makes something up when they don't know. Okay, sometimes a person has to say this, I don't know, and not make it up. It's possible there are, and I'm going to find out for you, and I'm going to give you the answer. And then the last slide is going to say, these are the programs where you don't need an HSC, or there aren't any of these, all of these programs require one. And we're going to add a slide to that, and it's going to be there, and people will be able to find out the answer. I can promise you that, but I'm not going to give you an answer when I don't know the answer.
Thank you. Looks like Kel Sang has a question.
Yes, I have a quick question. Usually I heard that scholarship means it's students who have a high grade, high score. This scholarship, this time, this is new, interesting scholarship which look for low income. So I wonder if this scholarship also look for high score in GED or high school?
No, no, and most of the screening tests don't either. What they're looking for is you either pass it or you don't. So for our program, for EMT and for medical assisting, you either pass the reading test or you don't. So it's pass or not pass. You pass it, you're eligible, that's it. You know, we're not attaching the scholarship to people who score higher than somebody else. But that if you don't pass it, basically what we're looking at when we do a reading test for EMT and medical assisting, we're taking reading material from our textbook and we're saying, read this paragraph and answer the question. Do you understand our textbook or you don't understand it? You don't understand the textbook, we don't think you're going to be successful in the class because you don't understand what you're reading. So we don't want to put you in a program that you're not going to understand. So if you can understand it, then we're happy to have you in the program. If you're not ready for the program, then we would prefer for you to either study English some more or study reading some more, so you will be successful in the program. We don't attach the grade to the scholarship.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Ms. Christine, me again, Vanessa. The free medical billing you have that's available now, is it where it's located and when do they also have it online and what time?
Okay. Medical assisting, the only part that's online is medical terminology and CCMA procedures, which is some of the office part. But phlebotomy and EKG and CPR is in person. And there's a lot of skills involved in that, and it's all in person. You can't do it online. It's all at the college campus in Long Island City, Queens.
Thank you.
And by the way, in phlebotomy, you have to draw blood from each other. So if you can't stand the sight of blood or needles, medical assisting is not for you. I know, we laugh. You know, listen, you have to pick the thing that's right for you, right?
I know.
If you're going to draw blood from somebody and you're like, I see a needle and I could pass out, that's not for you, right? If you're going to do pharmacy tech and you can't do math, don't do pharmacy tech. If you don't want to sit at a computer all day, you don't want to do IT support. You know, you got to, what floats your boat? You know, you like to work with your hands, plumbing may be for you, or maybe it's not. You got to think what's for you.
I agree, thank you.
Christine, if you have links to those free programs, the medical billing and the, oh no, I've forgotten what it was, but maybe I could get those from you later.
I will.
Yeah, right. And I'll post those in the Google Classroom so people can find those programs.
I will send you those to add to the slides.
Great.
No problem.
So we're starting to run down here, I think. Are there any other questions for Christine? She's been extremely generous in answering questions. We're very appreciative. But other questions?
Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to me yap all this time. You know, it's been an honor to talk to you, and I thank you for patiently listening to me. It's been an honor to speak with you, and I wish you all well, and I hope many of you will join us and have a wonderful experience at LaGuardia.